Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this internal members-only webinar, Get to Know Us Inside the Institute. I am Annabel Llanes, the head of events at the APS, and I will be hosting this session today. There have been a lot of changes happening in the association in the last few months, and this is what we're holding these sessions to let you know what's happened and to give you the opportunity to ask questions, to send us your feedback and share your thoughts, really. Because your opinion really matters to us. We're running a survey on the same topic, and you will get the link to complete it. And we will be really grateful if you could do it. It's only 5 questions, and it would help us immensely in guiding and shaping the future of their organization. You are all on mute at the moment, but we will have time at the end of the session to run through questions. So please use your questions box on the side of your screen. Without further delay, and it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, is Andy Hough. Andy is the CEO and founder of the APS and is very passionate about giving priority to the sales profession, and has been working continuously very hard to liaising with academics, practitioners and government to achieve that. Andy believes strongly in giving sales professionals the tools needed to be the best they can be and be successful in their roles. He has more than 30 years experience in sales and leadership roles. Andy, without further delay, good morning and over to you.
Thank you, Annabelle, and good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be with you. I know you're probably all stunned that I've been in sales for 30 years, looking as I do in my early 20s, but it is true. Today is a run through really to allow people to understand, before we make the major announcements next week, really what's in store as a member or fellow of the either ISM or APS, and as we bring those together in the Institute of Sales Professionals, really what's under the covers. So please do, as we go through this, store up any questions, and I'll be delighted to answer them at the end, because this is really your opportunity to understand how your institute is going to go forward and look to do things in order to serve you and your colleagues. So as you can see, we are looking to share with you today some of the things that you will see next week. You will see a new website, you'll see a new logo, you'll see a new positioning, which is really starting to tip a hat of acknowledgement to the over 100 years of work that both the ISM, the CIM, and also the APS have been doing to really get sales recognised on parity, as Annabelle was saying, with other professions such as accounting, marketing, procurement, HR, to name but a few. So it's very important for us that we acknowledge and bring both the fellows that were in the ISM and the APS together as one, to continue to bring more thought leadership into people, and to actually bring more opportunity to share best practices and look at different ways of doing things. Who are the Institute of Sales Professionals? Well, we are a government-backed professional body. We actually, as you'll see in this slide, work with an organisation called the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Professional Sales. That is chaired by Mark Pawsey, who is the MP for Rugby. And that is a group of MPs. It's the second largest APPG in the whole of Parliament. And we work with them on a number of reports and on lobbying and getting debates going around the importance of sales to the UK economy, the importance of skill sets that need to be taught in schools, the importance of actually that transition from school to working within sales, which we now really try to support through the UK apprenticeship scheme. And really, as we recap there, this is about celebrating wonderful salespeople who want to demonstrate their authenticity, their integrity. They want to demonstrate that they're raising the bar and they're following the rules. and differentiate themselves against a lot of people who are, saying, well, I'm a super salesperson, I'm 150% at goal, I'm customer centric. Well, it's a great statement, but actually what we prefer to do is give authenticity to those people who are developing themselves through things like CPD, so continuous professional development for lifelong learning and career-long learning, and actually people who want to upshow the fact that they are aligning to quality and standards and the ethics programs that we actually run. We also spend a lot of time enabling companies to run academies that carry qualifications in sales and align to standards so that they can actually work to engage, attract, develop and retain the best sales talent that they can. And that's particularly interesting in terms of the recent report actually produced by City and Guilds, where they surveyed thousands of companies, and actually the second largest skill that was seen to be needed over the next 3 to 5 years was sales and business development. So businesses are starting to wake up to the fact that actually the competitive edge is their people, because it's not what their competitors have got. And actually, how do they actually make those people and enable those people to be the best that they can be? You'll see here, this is our logo. So you'll be used to either an ISM logo or an APS logo, and those will stay around for a little while as we sensibly transition over based on people's investment in there. But this is really the destination, the Institute of Sales Professionals, setting professional standards in sales. You'll see that the logo on there very much acknowledges the ISM history and contribution. Color palette has slightly changed. This will not be the last time that we change our name. There will be one more planned change where actually on chartered recognition from the Privy Council, we would actually become the Chartered Institute of Sales Professionals. But at the moment, we will stick with this because that is the right and proper thing to do, and it's also the legal thing that we're allowed to do. You may have all seen the Simon Sinek circle. I'm a big fan of Simon, and he talks about the why, the how, the what, basically, of any organization. And we believe that that's very, very important to have that articulated. And so our why is we want to help sellers be the very best they can be for their entire career, not just in their current role and employment. And we want to supplement the learning and capability that they get and you get from your employers with over 500 to 600 hours worth of materials and learning and programs that are on the world's largest sales training and sales learning LMS system, which we have on our membership platform, so that you can prepare for that next role. You can keep your skills fresh, you can keep your skills current, you can benefit from situational learning. An example of that is when the COVID pandemic hit in April, May last year, we had over 500-600 people attend some of our digital events around work-life balance, digital engagement, remote sales presentations, and things which really wouldn't have actually been in many people's curriculums or internal academies, but we were able to support our members and our networks through those types of things to help people in that unforeseen transition. So again, it's about letting people understand that we are there for the next 30 years, and we will actually support them through their entire career development within sales. How do we do that? Well, very simply, we create learning pathways for individuals to achieve the highest skill, knowledge, and behaviors in sales. And we will never move away from that focus on skill, knowledge, and behavior. And in fact, it's at the core of a lot of things that happen within apprenticeships. That's effectively how you construct that learning. And whilst apprenticeships are a formal process, we believe the informal process of apprenticeship knowledge transfer between a manager or a mentor, a senior salesperson, and somebody who's less experienced is something that absolutely we want to bring to life through the Institute, where people can mentor other people, they can learn from people that have gone before, and that transfer of knowledge that brings up somebody to a mastery of skill, knowledge, and behavior is actually an apprenticeship in itself. And so we want to make sure that people have an ability to to learn, develop their own pathway, plot their own pathway, and be supported by us and their employer and the employer and us in tandem, and a lot of our authorized training organizations as well, who we believe have great content and who are aligning to those knowledge frameworks that help people develop. How do we do that? So we have to help people identify the gaps in their capability, and we do that either via assessment or benchmarking or discovery with their organization. We look to understand where they are against the competence, against standards, and then we help develop and support with the employer or association a learning pathway which is recognized, carries certifications and qualifications. And we do that by constantly keeping fresh world-class content and materials and best practices and delivering those in a way that is basically engaging from a range of types of materials and tools, from simple things like research, from white papers, from more simple things like battle cards, and all delivered on a mobile agile platform that allows people to engage just in time with what they need. So very much this is getting into, and there's more detail that sits behind this, a lot of the things that we do to serve the people on this call and your fellow members and future members. Main activities. So our main activities are education. We believe in lifelong learning. We've talked about the fact that we will stick with people through their careers and help them be the best that they can be in every role. And we do that through either internal academies, i.e. working with organizations, some of them may be on this call, but organizations like Cromwell and Vodafone and O2, through apprenticeships. We have over 1,000 people on a diploma apprenticeship, and we have 200 plus in being delivered through Consalia on the level 6 degree apprenticeship. Some of those people in BT and Royal Mail coming through and completing their 3-year degrees now. And we do that through qualifications. We are an Ofqual registered body, and we have qualifications from level 2 right away through to level 7. We partner with some of the most fantastic educational institutes in the world, from Cranfield University Centre of Executive Development through to Middlesex University and a number of organizations in the US. And we also work with some of the world's greatest sales training companies in the likes of Mercury, BMS, TAC International, Rain, Richardson, CVI, Corporate Visions. And we're all working together to raise the standards of quality of learning and development within the sales practice. The next piece is professionalism, standards of practice, codes of ethics, the ethics exams, certifications, assessment, and benchmarks are all designed to independently allow one of our members to say to their current or future employee, their current and future customer, you can trust me and you should be looking at me in a different way. I'm a passionate professional who takes my role and what I do seriously, and you should expect the highest standards from me. And that should set me aside from other people who are just necessarily trying to sell you something. So again, that can be encapsulated through true professional differentiation. And that's no different from other organizations which have trodden this path before, such as accounting, the medical profession, and engineering. Community. Well, it's important because community learning actually helps individuals, and it's actually understanding being part of a tribe, being part of a network, and actually learning from other people that actually really helps people develop themselves. So we do events. We will bring back local and national and international live events, but clearly for the last period of time and probably for the foreseeable future, for the rest of this year, we've been doing digital. We are creating special areas of interest. So you'll see us releasing the Emerging Professionals Network, which is for people who are in their first or second sales role, women in sales, women in sales in technology, FMCG. So all of these areas where we believe that we can bring people together to continue to have a community and learn and actually develop in their particular area of interest and passion. And then last but not least is insight. We need to keep bringing out the view of what's going to happen across the horizon, but also what's been studied before and actually putting that into a context which is useful for practitioners. Part of my own personal journey as a researcher, doctorate researcher at Cranfield, is to help bring a lot of this research that's previously been done, translate it for leaders and passionate practitioners, and help them understand how to use things that have been proven to have an impact. And we want to do studies. Annabelle talked about some of the surveys, leadership roundtables, and other things that allow people to really understand what's going on with their peers, with their academics, with trends that are out there, bring all that together and serve that up in a way that saves our members time sifting through lots and lots of material to get to the real things that we believe are going to be beneficial for them. Org chart. Really, we're not going to go through this in any detail because it's a bit of an eye chart. However, what this is designed to do is to show you that we are two things. We are a very real life, work balanced organization where we have 3 offices, but people work from wherever the customer is. We have a large number of people across both employee, part-time, and consultant. So we are not a small organization. Now, you'll see from some of the people on the right-hand side of this chart, the work that we are doing around quality and working with organizations to ensure that we uphold that quality in academies and apprenticeships, right the way through to under Nadia, who's our new head of sales, a very strong team who are there designed to work and transition people into the institute and then serve them and engage them whilst they are here. We're really delighted by this. We will continue to grow, and you'll see some people here, from an international perspective in ANZ and Hong Kong and Africa and Asia, as we really start to open up in foreign countries and do the same there for our international clients as we do in the UK. Where are we? Well, this is where we are on the journey. And this is a truncated journey, really. I mean, this goes back to 1974, but there is up to 1911 a chartered route between what was called the ISMM and the CIM. But in 1974, the CIM was founded in its own organization, the ISMM split. And over time, you'll see that the APS was launched and the ISMM rebranded as the ISM. And we've done some things to really double down on standards and engagement with corporate and government institutions and bodies such as business and finance. But actually now an opportunity has arisen to actually merge the ISM and the APS together. And we're delighted that over 150 people who were due for renewal have already renewed, and that's just the tip of the iceberg from the ISM. We're delighted to be engaging with them and learning from them and them to come on the journey. And you'll see, therefore, that now in 2001, there is one global de facto body that effectively will represent sales and actually move it through to being probably the biggest professional body on the planet, which we're very, very excited about. You'll see this coming out as well, which we are updating our ethics and standards work. So you'll see the acronym FAIR, which we believed that we needed to bring out to really add life to this important part of our work. So FAIR is you'll see more detail. It's a multi-year program where we assist organizations in following the rules, acting appropriately, looking to act with integrity and raise the bar. And there'll be different elements that we will introduce to our corporate partners who are on this program, like Royal Mail, where we are tracking that they are following the rules, their company rule, their industry rule, their sales profession rules, they're acting appropriately, and we can monitor that and measure that and look at any complaint feedback. They're acting with integrity, but they're also raising the bar and developing themselves. They're raising their own skills bar and consequently raising the bar of engagement that their customers should expect. Our values, we are very, very pleased that our values are open. We are very much inclusive and integral in what we try to do. We are honest and ethical. We clearly have to be, but want to be. So we are very transparent in all things that we do. And we also adopt the strategy that if we can't live by ethical standards, then how can we expect others to do? We're development focused. We're delighted that we are, of our 30 people, we actually have 5 apprentices. So we are as well leading the front in understanding how to develop people. And we're also looking at how we develop people, not just through the apprenticeship route, but through individual development plans. So again, we can't look to people and say, you must find a way to help people go on a learning pathway if we don't do it ourselves, which is absolutely fundamental to what we do. We are inclusive as an employer and a body. I picked the word inclusive because we believe that you have to be inclusive before you can address diversity. And we are diverse. You'll see from the org chart when this goes live on the website that we actually have a balance of 60% female versus 40% male. We're very proud of that. We have other things to do on our inclusivity agenda, but we believe that that's it's a really great start. And we're very pleased as well with our inclusivity in terms of the age demographic. We have some really, really talented people looking at the future of their careers and in their early 20s, and that helps us balance what we need to deliver to people who are in that age demographic who are our members as well. So that's really, really important to us. And we want to be innovative and progressive. We don't want to sit on our laurels. We want to be constantly saying, can we bring something out that's going to add to what we've got? Can we bring something to the marketplace that's going to really help individuals stand out and be differentiated and be seen as trustworthy and be seen as the people that buyers want to engage with? And how do we do that with our websites, our tools, our systems, but also importantly with our messaging and our thought leadership? Financials, we are open as a financial organization. You can go to Companies House and seek any information on us whatsoever. We are not a company that is for loss, but we are not for profit. And when I say that, which is very important, all our profits are redistributed back into the Institute for investment in either systems, people, or resources. The directors of the organization take no money out of it whatsoever. It is literally incorporated not by share, but by reputation. And we believe that that is seamless transfer into how we will be asked to operate as a chartered institute. As I said, our profits are reinvested. 2020 saw us actually increase our revenues, which was a surprise in the pandemic, but great testament to how we engaged and supported organizations. And we entered into profitability, having had several years of quite heavy investment in systems and apprenticeship programs and other things as well. And we have very strong projections and growth aspirations into 2021 and 2022. But again, the key message here is you can see where membership money goes and where things are being invested. It's very, very transparent in what we do and how we behave financially. Aspirations to be certainly the largest body in the UK, and I picked the word professional there because, slightly tongue-in-cheek, that there's 2 organisations which are really strong, and that's the Caravan Club and the Scouts and Guides Association. And as they're both in the 400,000s, I think we might struggle to get there. But I think our aim should certainly be to be on parity with the Chartered Institute Procurement and Supply. They have 40,000 people. So our aim is to be in the 40 to 50,000 mark in the not too distant future. And in doing that, also work with government, as we've talked about in terms of the APPG, to help schools pupils understand what a career in sales is about, understand what it can do for them, and actually how they could get into it. And we believe that that's probably a very important part of the Institute's work over the next year to help unbiasedly educate university students and schools that this is what sales is and this is how it drives the economy, but this is how you can actually prosper in that if you are passionate about doing it for the next 20, 30 years. Global family. I have have to tip my hat to Annabelle on this, who's co-hosting the call. She did these really cool charts, but you can see where we are legally open for business at the moment. We are able to serve Europe out of the UK, but we will be specifically focusing on Spain and Portugal. That will be in conjunction with the teams that we have in Australia and New Zealand, who are also supporting us not only in Spain and Portugal, but also in Brazil, due to the passionate people that have come forward and said that we absolutely see why this is important. We believe Australia and New Zealand is a great market for chartered bodies, and Brazil is the same. And we will continue to develop opportunities and franchises and countries around the world as we find the right people who are aligned to our values, who want to drive those areas locally. Some of the organisations that are corporate members of the body, ranging across from supply right the way through to home improvement, to marketing, to FMCG, to car manufacturing, to global chemicals, oil and gas. Persimmon, you'll see, the largest house builder in the United Kingdom, engineering, printing, and raw mail technology, and other professional bodies as well. So a really great mix. It's just growing all the time, and we're really pleased and proud of those organisations that are on that journey with us. Where are our members? Well, our members are based in more countries that we operate in, and you can see, I think at the last count, there's about 20 countries where people were actually members of the APS or the ISM, and those will be brought together. We will very quickly add other countries to this, so you'd expect Spain and Portugal to turn yellow, and some other parts of mainland Europe as well. And so we're really, again, really pleased about actually the fact that whilst we are based and focused on chartership in the United Kingdom, we're already serving organisations around the world. And that brings today to a close. Please see, obviously, my contact details and the contact details of Annabelle, should you have any questions upon reflection of what we've been talking about. And at that point, I'll hand back to Annabelle and thank you for your time to be able to explain a little bit more about who we are and where we're going.
Andy, thank you very much for that valuable update. It is very exciting, and I really hope our members are as excited as we are, and will take part in joining us in the journey. We have a few questions coming through, and one is regarding the journey to be chartered. Could you tell us a little bit more about where we are on the journey to become chartered body?
Absolutely, it's a great question and important to a lot of people, and it's certainly important to us. So we have engaged with the Privy Council. The Privy Council is the government organisation that deals with a lot of things, but one of them is chartered approval, giving the Queen's seal to an organisation. And we have formally written to them seeking advice on how we are best to structure the journey of engagement with them. They have come back and shared some information with us. We have had several meetings with them, and we are now going through a process to organise ourselves from the operational and strategic level right the way through to some of the other things that they would like to see in an audit. Then when we are confident that we have all of those things in place, and we have a tracker to actually make sure that everybody in the organisation who needs to own part of those work streams is owning them and moving them forward, we would anticipate at the end of the year being able to go back to the council and say we are ready to formally submit. But before we do, is it possible you can give us some of your views on what we're going to put in front of you? The process will then be, they will accept that and they will either decline, which happens in about 85% of the situation, and we have to change some other things. And then next year, they would then, once we've changed those, put us to audit, which is another professional body coming in to look at us and assess what we have put in our application and actually verify that that is actually how we're behaving and things that we're doing. So I would suggest that step 2, which will be the pre-formal set out of where we are, will be, as I say, to the end of this year. Then with an impending rejection and then a move forward, we should be at the formal audit process sometime next year. We might be surprised though, and we might not be rejected. And really that comes down to how hard we, our corporate members, and everybody starts to lobby government to say how important sales is, and actually there isn't a body that's representing them at the moment. And that may also be helped by the fact that we are starting to work with organisations like Tech UK, which is the technology really association for the UK, and we are now partnering with them on sales skills development and sales learning pathways for their members. And we are in conversations with 1 or 2 other trade associations as well about how we actually look at helping them with the sales standards within their industry, but then also actually amplifying through their trade bodies and associations to government the importance of business development and sales. So hopefully that gives you the answer. Is we are absolutely focused on it, and there's some processes to go through, but it's a well-defined process, and we are following that to the letter.
Thank you, Andy. There is a good question about the use of the credentials and transition from the ISM to APS and ISP. Could you tell us a bit more about that and what people need to do in order to use their credentials and be accurate?
Yeah, so another great question. So we've been working with the ACCA, so we do work with other professional bodies to ask them how they do it. And really the answer is it's a number of grace periods. So anybody who has an ISM letters after their name and they are not due to renew, they have 2 options. They can either continue to use the ISM branding, or they can move and work with our membership services to use ISP branding as of next week. If you are using APS branding, you will have the option to continue to use APS branding, or again move over to ISP. We envisage from a corporate perspective, because that's for individuals, we envisage from a corporate perspective that there will be a longer transition from the APS to the ISP, because organisations like SafeStyle and several others have really in the last few months put out some quite significant PR campaigns explaining what they're doing with us, and it would be unfair to insist that there was a hard switch. So we will work with people at the individual and corporate level to help people migrate to what brand they are comfortable with. From a corporate perspective, there's no corporates really using the ISM branding, so that's a little easier. But by really 2022, we would expect most people to be adopting and using the ISP branding.
Great, thank you, Andy. And finally, a question about qualifications and formal education. If an ordinary member wants to take part and join or start the APS or ISM qualification, is there a way of them doing it? Or if not, then what kind of education or career path can we provide to them to help them keep up to date?
Again, another great question, and thank you for that. So the first part is that we are working with organisations to be able to offer open programs of qualification, so that people can do either a sales level 4 accreditation knowledge, or even move on and do an open program for diploma in sales. So those things are being explored and developed right now. The first thing I would say though is, before you jump to qualifications, start working through your certifications. So go and get 24 hours of CPD under your belt. Go and do the ethics exam, because those are 2 things that immediately will go after your name. So if you're an individual who was in the ISM, you're moving over and you really want to differentiate, I would be moving my branding to ISP. So you'll see as we launch next week the levels that will come out. So member of the ISP or fellow of the ISP, depending on where you are. I would then very quickly be going to do the ethics exam and get that professional registration under your belt that you can put on your LinkedIn and on your profile. And then I would be looking to log through the system as quickly as possible, 24 hours worth of learning, so that you can then be demonstrated as a certified professional, because that's an important part of what anybody does. Once you started to do that, you're building up towards then finding an open course to do a qualification, whether that be at diploma, degree, or master's level. So, in conclusion, there's some quick things that you can do to self-certify and show your learning capability, and that I think is a good build up and segue and on ramp onto then doing some more formal qualifications, because doing a qualification is not easy. It involves time, and so sometimes people do get a little caught out about that and surprised about just how much time it might need. So I would do some things to get you into that learning mentality, and more easily done, which is more self-driven, and then move into qualifications after that.
Great. Those are all the questions we have received. Thank you so much, Andy, for your time and for all the attendees to be with us. If you think of any questions and you just want to contact us, like Andy suggested, please get in touch. You will also have the opportunity to complete a feedback form about this event, and you will receive information about how to complete the survey on the ISP itself, and for you to give us your opinion, feedback, and any concerns that you may have. And this is all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and be in touch whenever you think you want to ask us some questions. Thank you, Andy, and goodbye all. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.